Today I'm going to take a look back at all the Battlefield games that I could get my hands on, starting out with Battlefield 1942 and working all the way up to Battlefield 1. I'm going to be comparing these games in an upcoming series, starting with the character models in each game and how they have developed over time. Now, of course, when looking at this you can tell that the characters in the 1942 game were a lot more simplistic due to the time it was made, and then in Battlefield 1 they are fantastic. Now of course at the time of making each game things were pretty advanced and Battlefield pretty much always led the way in terms of what was possible in a game. However, it's very rare that you get to compare these things and have a look at how things progressed. Also, a lot of players that are playing Battlefield 1 never played the older games. They might have never even played Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3, never mind the ones way before like the Bad Company games and maybe Battlefield 2 or 1942. So it's interesting to look back and just see how much things have evolved. Now of course there are some games that I couldn't get my hands on. This was down to the fact that they're not being played online anymore. I haven't got the games and I just can't locate them, or they're not on the PC and they're a console game. Now I think there are ways of getting some of them, say for example the first Bad Company game, and I'm sure you can find footage of them, or I know you can find footage of them on YouTube. However, it's not something that I'm willing to spend hours and hours just to get 5 minutes or maybe less in terms of footage. It's not really something I'm willing to do. So starting off, we're going to take a look at Battlefield 1942. Now this game came out on PC in 2002 and was on the Refractor 1 engine. And of course at the minute we're on Frostbite 3, way back then we were on Refractor 1. This was a long time ago, 2002, you're looking at over 15 years ago, and it never came out on console either, it was just on PC. And as you can tell, things are pretty simplistic. It's not so much a bad looking game. I mean, at the time it was probably fantastic, and the fact that I'm running it at the minute at 1080p on max settings, it was probably never run on that at the time. You would be running it on an older monitor on a lower resolution, and it might have looked better back then. As you can tell though, things are pretty simplistic, but DICE was still interested in a couple of the core values that you do see in today's games. This links into the stances of the soldiers and the way they ragdoll when they die. You can see some examples of this in the background. It's very interesting how they've done this. I like the fact that even the newer games stick to some of the core values that you see in this. Now some of you may never have seen this game before. If you haven't, this is a very good opportunity to check it out. I've also made another video in the past, more of a trailer, looking at the evolution of Battlefield. I'm going to link that in the description down below if you're interested. It's great to see how things evolved from this, and this was the very beginning. Next up, we'll move on to Battlefield 2. Now this came out on the Refractor 2 engine back in 2005. Again, a long time ago, but things did evolve over those 3 years, and you can definitely tell that in the gameplay that I'm going to show you. Now I'm not playing multiplayer online, I'm just playing on the single player mode where you can spawn in a load of bots. The bots are named after some of the developers as well, which is pretty cool, so you can go around sniping the devs. And also I think it's a shame that this mode never made it into the newer Battlefields. Some people do like to jump on a mode like this and just practice their aim, things like that. We don't even have a test range on BF1, and I feel as if we're really missing out with that. You can also tell how the animations and the soldiers are a lot smoother in this game, and it's all of a sudden looking more like a Battlefield game that we love and know. I think there's a lot in this game that links to Bad Company 2 when I'm playing it. You can almost see the evolution, the stepping stone that this game was. Very, very fun to play. Some of the mechanics are a little clunky, as is always the way with the older games. Nonetheless, it does look really, really good. As you can see with the graphics turned up, it's not too far off some of the modern games that I've been playing. Say you were to play Squad or Armour or something like that. This game isn't far off those. It does look at home, especially when you turn some of the stuff up. If it had a revamp and maybe was re-released, I'm certain that they wouldn't have to do a huge amount to it in order to make it look good. That being said, things have moved on a long way since then, so let's take a look. Now after Battlefield 2 you did of course have Battlefield 2142. I can't include gameplay of that because I can't get the game to work. After that you had Battlefield Bad Company, again a console version of the game. This was on Frostbite 1 though, and this is when we really started to see the game take off. Of course you had Battlefield 1943 and then Bad Company 2. Bad Company 2 was a big move in terms of how the game looked and played, and I know a lot of people that put in tons of hours to that game, and although they tend to look back at it through rose-tinted spectacles and tend to think that it was a lot better than it was, it's still a blast to play. The game looks brilliant. Turned up, it is just fantastic. If you have a chance, jump on. There are still plenty of servers. You can even play the campaign and enjoy that if you've never played it before, because it's a great campaign. There are a couple of things that I don't like. The fact you can't strafe like you can in the newer games. The servers tend to be modded as well, which isn't fantastic. Most of them have unlimited grenades and things like that, but it's super satisfying to play. Sniping is great fun, and you can also get to grips with some of these really fun maps. Rush is brilliant on the game, and it was probably amazing to play when it first came out. Now again, you can see the evolution of the game quite clearly. As we compare some of these games side by side, you can see how things have evolved. The players look amazing in Bad Company 2, their animations are great, and of course the graphics are going to be more advanced on the newer engine, but more than that, you can see DICE have put in some effort into the way the characters move around and the animations of the weapons. We then move on to some of my favourite games of all time, starting with Battlefield 3. Released in 2011, Battlefield 3 ran on the Frostbite 2 engine and was available for PC and of course the PS3 and Xbox 360. Again, a game that you should definitely pick up if you have the chance. Plenty of servers available, obviously not as popular as it used to be, but still a lot of fun. I actually jumped on just before recording this to get some footage, found a server immediately and played a game of Rush. Really enjoyed it, and you can see some gameplay of that in the background. Now there are again some things that I don't like in this game. The screen shake and things like that just get in the way of the game. The grenades tend to be pretty crazy on some maps because of the way that it bottlenecks you. But overall, it's great fun, and again, a great improvement on Bad Company 2. Although not massively noticeable, when you start playing the game a lot more, you'll notice how some things change. The gameplay is a lot smoother, and the character movement's great. The soldiers also look fantastic. Although you do get some bugs, I'm sure you guys have seen some of the funny bugs you get with soldiers like the long neck guy. I'll put a screenshot of that for you now. I haven't experienced that myself, but it is quite a common bug. The whole thing is really nice and a smooth experience. Moving on from Battlefield 3, we went straight into Battlefield 4 at the back end of 2013. This game was a disaster when it dropped, so many things broken in it, but they did fix it and came out with a really nice game about a year or so after its release. Again, a game you must play if you're a Battlefield fan. It's right up there with the best games I've ever played. Some people hate it, we all know who I'm talking about there, but still, it's a great game. You don't need to listen to the people who don't enjoy it, listen to the ones that do, and definitely give it a crack. Again, as you can see, I've used the spectator cam to showcase the soldiers in this one. Really awesome soldier animations in general. I think the cinematics that were being created with this game and the trailers that have come out just showcase how amazing this game looks. In some cases, it is almost lifelike. The screenshots that have been created as well are almost lifelike. A fantastic looking game. The ragdolls in this game are superb too. And as I said with the original titles that we were looking at earlier in the video, they started to have those ragdolls, and in Battlefield 4 I think they reached a peak. They were really funny, sometimes a little bit eccentric, and soldiers would fly off into orbit. Nonetheless, a really fun game and a fantastic looking one. Now Battlefield 4 was of course on the Frostbite 3 engine. This was the same as Battlefield Hardline, a game that we'll take a quick peek at, but of course I'm not a massive fan. In my opinion, it didn't really look anything better than Battlefield 4. It looked a little more cartoony, and the Cops and Robbers theme took something away from the Battlefield franchise. The infantry was fantastic fun, however, and although there weren't many vehicles, it did give a good change of pace to anyone who was a fan of the franchise and loved playing Battlefield. Good fun for about 100 hours for me. Not really one of my all-time favourite games, but something I definitely enjoyed playing. The character animations again were fantastic. There's a nice cinematic by Hoodoo Operator that showcases how good this game can look if you get the settings just right. That again will be down in the description if you want to check it out. Finally, we're going to take a look at Battlefield 1. Again, on the Frostbite 3 engine, Battlefield 1 was released in 2016. By far the best looking game in the franchise. This really took it to the next level, and DICE outdid themselves with a game that just looks superb. It really excites me to think what they're going to do with the next game, as they've taken steps each game to make it look even better. What will they do with the next one? Will it be even better? Will they have a new engine? I don't think they'll have a new engine personally, because this one is just good enough and they've ironed out a lot of the bugs in it, so they might just want to keep it. Nonetheless, it is a superb looking game. As you can tell from some of the clips in the background, the character models are just fantastic. They're almost lifelike, and especially if you get a still shot, and there are some screenshot people out there that come up with some lifelike screenshots. If you put up the resolution to 200%, put up your graphics onto full, and render something out in a high resolution, as I said, it is just lifelike. Really awesome. My favourite looking maps have to be the In the Name of the Tsar maps. I love snow maps. Even on Battlefield 4, the Final Stand snow maps look fantastic. It's not so much about how they play in my eyes. Some of these maps just look great and it's a joy to just be on them and playing. Now in terms of character models, because that's what I was focusing on, the way the soldiers have developed, you can see some screenshots in the background and it is clear to see. Over the course of 15 or 16 years, things have changed a whole lot. Over the next couple of years, I imagine they'll change a lot more. We have seen things evolve quite a bit over the last 4 or 5 years in terms of gaming. What is possible on console and PC now is far superior to what used to be possible. Again, really impressive to see what DICE are doing here. Now let me know in the comments what your favourite game is in terms of the way it looks. Was Bad Company 2 the biggest jump for you when it first came out? Was maybe Battlefield 1942 or Battlefield 2 really special when you first started playing it? Or did you have to wait until Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 to see something you liked? In my opinion, Battlefield 1 is the best looking by far, but is of course the newest. Battlefield Bad Company 2 has held really well, even though it is 8 years old now. Probably one of the best looking games that has come out from back then in 2010. Hopefully you enjoyed this comparison video. If you did, leave a like down below. I'll catch you in the next video.